Gentlemen, when you're ready. Good afternoon, everyone. This is the February 2, 2026 meeting of the Meridian Transportation Commission. We will start with the roll call. Mr. Ballard. Present. Mr. Shoemaker has advised us that he will not be here today. Ron Lancaster. I am present. Tracy Hopkins.
Present.
Stephen Lewis.
Here.
Online. Jared Smith is with us.
Present.
I'll speak for him. Tom LeClaire. Tom, we think you're out there, but we don't think you're hooked up to be able to talk to us. Advic Bansel. In the ex officio list, Kelly Bruner. Austin Miller, welcome. Miranda Carson has a stand-in today, and tell us all your name, please. Welcome. Kate Dahl.
Here.
Thank you, ma'am. Justin Price.
Here.
Welcome. Sergeant Carter wrote us and said that he would be out ill today. And Tricia Murray in legal.
Emily Kane for legal.
Craig Bergman, Brian McClure, and Caleb Hood are all present. Okay. Next item is the adoption of the agenda. Does staff have any changes to the agenda? Not hearing any. Does any of the commissioners have a change to the agenda? Hearing none, we'll accept a motion to approve the agenda as printed.
So moved. Second.
Have a motion by Mr. Ballard, a second by Mr. Smith. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The
Aye.
agenda is adopted. Next item is the approval of the minutes of the January 5 meeting. Comments, questions, changes, motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the minutes.
Have a motion by Mr. Hopkins, a second by Mr. Ballard. Any other discussion? All in favor of approving the minutes of the January 5 meeting, please say aye.
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 They are taken care of. Next item is an information item for the staff transportation project tracking. And the presenter on this will be Mr. McClure. And Mr. Lancaster has joined us. Welcome.
Members of the commission. I have the transportation project up on your screen. I did briefly, real quick, want to just introduce Craig Bergman. He's your new liaison for the commission. He's in long-range planning. He's our new associate coordination planner. Thrilled to have him on board. Regarding the transportation projects, I have that shared on the screen. The last meeting, you guys asked us to highlight anything of note. I don't have anything of note to share except that City Council last week heard and accepted would be a good term, I guess, the Stratford to Touchmark Transportation White Paper. They've decided they want to move forward with preservation efforts, and we plan next month to have Carl here to overview that with you all. Otherwise, I don't have anything to add.
Well, I do want to thank you for the capitalization that you added to this report. It makes it a little easier to look and see if there've been any changes since the last meeting. Anyone have any comments, questions on the project tracking section of our agenda? I have one comment on page 10 of our packet, the Black Cat and Macmillan roundabout. Just to tell you that they have started putting in the utilities and land leveling work at the southeast corner of Black Cat and Macmillan. And my understanding is that that developer is participating in the future construction of the two-lane roundabout that'll go at that corner. Is that correct? Mr. McClure, yes, sir. Caleb? That was a yes? Thank you. Okay. Anyone with anything else? Okay, we will move on to item 3 under new business. The next item is the ACHD 27 to 31 project process, and we're welcoming Edison Batista from ACHD to us. And Edison, I would suggest that you start off by telling us about your promotion. Is that on? I'm not sure it is. Do y'all need to turn him on, or does he need to do it?
Is there a button on the front on the instrument collar?
It is green. It's light green. Oh,
There you are.
I can hear myself. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. No promotion. It's but certainly it's a new project I'm leading as part of my as a senior transportation planner. So let me introduce myself. My name is Edison Bautista. I'm a senior transportation planner at the Ada County Highway District. For the record, my address, the ACHD address is 5800 Meeker Street, Boise, Idaho, 83713. Oh, Meeker Avenue, sorry, they're correcting me.
You haven't been there long, so.
Yes, I'm still learning. I had to Google the address actually before jumping in. So let me start with today's presentation. Are we sure? Are we good now? Yeah. Okay, perfect. So thank you for having us today. Certainly, probably I'm a new face to the Meridian Transportation Commission. This is my first year leading this 5-year plan update, but certainly we will continue to meet all the city's expectation and the and keep the 5-year plan with all the with the same standards that that the city of Meridian has accustomed to with this plan. As part of this presentation, we want to kick off the 2027-2031 5-year plan. As part of today's presentation, I will go over what is the 5-year plan, 5-year plan, going over our programming framework, our planned schedule. Also, I wanted to provide an overview of what the adopted 2026-2030 5-year plan, and provide an update similar to what Brian McCarthy provided to the council a couple of weeks back. And then our partner agencies, what is our strategy for partner agencies and public outreach process? And finally, our coming key dates and milestones as part of this update. So let me start off with what is the 5-year plan. The 5-year plan, it's a tool that integrates construction and maintenance program into one place. It is our transportation project plan where we set forward the strategies and priorities for the next 5 years. It implements projects that are identified through long-range planning, including neighborhood plans, capital improvement plan, bicycle master plan. And it's an outward-facing document that informs the public and partner agency of what our current and future plans are. It creates a layer of transparency for our plan activities, and it is a vital tool for coordination between ACHD and our partner agencies, and internal use as well. This is, in this slide, I wanted to provide a snapshot of what the programming framework looks like for the ACHD. This is carefully use an array of guiding documents, like I mentioned before. And everything starts with the cities and counties comprehensive plan. Certainly, that's a document that we use to that we look at to see what is established land use vision for areas all throughout Ada County. At the same time, we use Compass demographic projections and travel demand models to identify that growth patterns in a specific regions and what are the triggers that happen throughout the roadway network in the next 5 years. This later informs our strategic plan for asset management and resource allocation. All this effort as well as our asset management plan, like we presented in the slide, the asset management plan, the ADA plan, bike master plan, neighborhood plan, and capital improvement. All of these documents feed into what is the 5-year plan, all the projects that become a priority and projects in the next 5 years. In this slide, I wanted to very quickly walk through our typical schedule for the 5-year plan, or at least for this update. This starting off in January, where we kicked off the 5-year plan process with a letter that was sent out to all our partner agencies, including the mayor of City of Meridian. And then we kicked off internally with our commission as a work session that took place in January 21st. At that point, we opened our first public outreach where we collect initial feedback, and I will expand on that information in the next couple of slides. That later translate into project identification, working with the partners to identify what those project priorities are, that help us to develop the internal draft, and later goes through a refinement, a back and forth iterations of refinements that later are presented to the public during the summer of this year. Finally, we highlight the budget adoption that takes place in August. And finally, this adoption aims to be presented in front of the commission by the end of September of this fiscal year. Just very quickly, I wanted to go through our adopted 2026-2030 5-year plan for the city of Meridian. As shown in this slide, we have over 30 projects programmed in the current 5-year plan. This is a combination of different type of projects going from asset management, which include our bridge program, our maintenance of the roadway system, and our infrastructure, to new projects that are planned in this region, including the expansion of the USIC roadway projects, as part of the Highway 16 expansion. We have several projects that are tied to that specific project. Sorry, I said Highway 16, Highway 21. Or Highway 16. I think that's 16, right? Yeah, okay. Sorry, I got confused sometimes with that. But certainly, as you can see, we have an array of projects all throughout the city of Meridian, all going from the downtown area to the North Meridian and South Meridian. As part of the 2026 construction projects, we have the USIC Black Cat roadway and 10-mile roadways, USIC Phillies Canal Oahes. Those are projects that are the projects that are from the Canada Road to Highway 16 are projects that we are working in coordination with Kenyon County and the city to work on those winding projects. Also, we have priority projects that were raised by the city in prior prioritization efforts, like Stoddard Road, Victory to Overland, and as well other priority projects like Linder Road Overpass, Overland to Franklin Road. For 2027, certainly we highlight the Black Cat Railroad crossing, which became a priority as part of the city of Meridian, as well as for the city of Meridian.
And to interrupt you there, Edison, the comment was made before the city council a couple of weeks ago when y'all were here that Black Cat Road Railroad crossing would be built at the current 2-lane configuration width and not widened to the future width of Black Cat in that area, if I remember correctly. This is an effort to get the crossing guards in there now.
Correct. I'm just, sorry, I'm just looking at my documentation that I printed out, just to make sure that I get the information correct.
You're like us, you got a lot of paper.
Yes. Yes, that's correct. And this is, we'll upgrade the railroad crossing to remove the stop sign, install safety light and gates. This includes sidewalk connection on the east side of the road. And this will be, this will be supplemented with federal aid funds.
Okay.
Sorry. Something's happened. Okay, perfect. So jumping into the partner agency prioritization process, certainly we wanted to work in partnership with the city of Meridian as part of this update to the 5-year plan. We continue to focus on the partner agency's top 3 priorities. That's a strategy that was implemented last year. And our goal as part of this strategy is to make sure that the top priorities that the city have identified in the roadway intersection project list and safety and compliance are allocated in one of the programming years within the 5-year plan. In this slide, I list what those top 3 project priorities are from the 2025 project list. And as you can see, all of them have a programming year at this point. Certainly Locust Grove, Fairview Avenue, and Usick it's one that has a concept year that's currently ongoing at this moment of time with the planning team. But certainly after that's completed, we'll be able to look at the holistic vision of that project and where we wanted to program in the future years of the 5-year plan. We'll continue to look at the city and the Transportation Commission as well to share with us what their top priorities are. But we encourage the city and all partner agencies to keep consistency with the priorities on the top 1 to 3 to make sure that those projects are moving forward within the 5-year plan as phases continues to happen. We encourage that not to move those projects until construction is taking place. That way, the funding the work done as part of those projects and the funding availability remains with that project as it goes into construction. At the point when construction happens, we can start prioritizing the projects that are coming into the later on in the prioritization process and then move them up into the 5-year plan. Next slide. Thank you. Currently, we're going through a public outreach effort, which was kicked off in January 22nd, and it's going to be closed until February 19. This is open for the public at this moment to provide any feedback with respect to any of the existing projects that are programming the 2026-2030 5-year plan, as well as any project that is in the Beyond 2030 tab. We also have the public also have the ability to provide comments with respect to new project ideas. So those are also part of this effort. All the public feedback received as part of this effort will be sharing with the city for their consideration as they evaluate their priorities. So after February 19, expect to see a full list of all public comments that were part of this 4-week public outreach. Some of the key dates and milestones I want to highlight as part of this process. As of right now, we are requesting feedback by March 18, but we are working with with all the partner agencies to provide flexibility with respect to how much time they need. My understanding is, for example, the City of Meridian have an additional 2 weeks per request, and that's something that we can accommodate as part of this process. Then we will present to the commission all the outreach, all the feedback, outreach, and the city's priorities to the commission to the ACAC Commission by May 13 of this year. And then from that point, we'll start preparing to the initial draft of the plan that will be released in this summer. The 5-year plan following consistent with the strategies in the past. The first 2 years of the plan are coordinated with the budget that it's adopted as part of the August budget adoption hearing. So after that process, we then update from that point, we then get ready to present the draft plan to the public on September 9, where we present the updated project list based on the feedback we received during the summer. And that will be the plan that then later on, by the end of September 23rd, the commission will be evaluating for adoption consideration. Certainly, this continues to be a collaborative effort between ACHD and the City of Meridian. We encourage our partners to provide their project list. In that way, we can present it to the public what those priorities are, and then we can evaluate how the projects move forward within our 5-year plan. So certainly, that's something we're looking forward to. And certainly, I'm more than happy to answer any questions you might have with respect to this year's update. This concludes my presentation, and I stand for any questions.
Any questions for Edison? Thank you. Appreciate you coming. Okay, the next item on our agenda is the 5-year plan 2731 prioritization report from our subcommittee. Brian, are you going to open that and then turn it to Jared Smith, or how are you going to do this?
I can give a brief opening. So I included a cover memo for those priorities in the packet. I summarized the notes as I understood them. Hopefully they're pretty clear. And then I gave you a reprioritized list based off of last year's and then corrected for changes that the prioritization committee made. Happy to talk through any questions you have, but I don't have anything else to add.
Yeah, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Smith.
I think Brian's kind of summary does a great job kind of representing the work that the subcommittee did. Obviously, there really are kind of, I think, 2 big discussions. There are a bunch of other smaller ones that are also covered here, but obviously there's the Locust Grove versus Meridian discussion, which there's plenty of detail in this packet about. I also just want to kind of call out this Lake Hazel corridor, kind of the discussion of Victory Road versus Lake Hazel down in South Meridian, which one's going to give better interconnectivity to Boise, and which one we should prioritize there. So we bumped Lake Hazel up, not into the top 10, but moved it upward just to say, hey, we understand this is a shift in priorities. And as for Locust Grove and Meridian, the comparison, the subcommittee pretty strongly preferred to focus on Locust Grove over Meridian for kind of some of the reasons that were laid out here, levels of service and things of that matter that we can also go into in further detail. Those are the 2 main ones that I think of. I don't know if Commissioner Hopkins wants to, if there's anything that you would add or if there's anything that Brian or anyone would add, but this is pretty significant coverage, good coverage of what we did.
Any comments from the committee members?
Yeah, we looked at Meridian Road being state highway. Think of how much was been ACH highway and Locust Grove being north-south arterial, we felt probably warranted some priority to it.
Okay. Mr. Lancaster, you were on that committee too? Any comments?
Yes, sir. Sure. I don't know that, at least from this commissioner's viewpoint, that Locust Grove was strongly of greater benefit. It was more like, I don't care for me, but, you know, I guess I will add that, you know, the section of Meridian Road that is in question in North Meridian is not state highway. It's only state highway south of the I-84, but, yeah, I'm not sure I'd go as far as to say strongly recommend, but you know, there's need on both roads.
You didn't vehemently oppose.
I didn't vehemently oppose nor vehemently campaign either. It was,
Mr. Chair, maybe the proper word is consistently, but not strongly. I think that's maybe a better, and any of the commissioners can correct me, but I think we all kind of tended to agree that Locust Grove was the priority. But yeah, I think we came to an understanding of Meridian needs work too, you know?
Okay.
But yeah. Thank you for that clarification, for sure. And Mr. Lewis is also online if.
Questions from commissioners regarding the privatization? Mr. Ballard?
I have one. So we talked maybe a year or so ago about Meridian Road or Locust Grove. The question that isn't answered is what happens when the car's going on Locust, if Locust Grove is picked, where do they go when they get to Overland if they're headed for the freeway? There's a bottleneck there. If they stay on Meridian Road, you now have access to the freeway.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, sir.
I think one of the things that we looked at is that portion of Meridian that interfaces with the freeway most significantly it's state highway. Right, so we don't have what we would be assigning to what we would be promoting and pushing for is essentially the northern portion of Meridian Road rather than the southern portion. And so there's also some argument that we kind of discussed of the value of having kind of contiguous investment along the entire corridor rather than investing in a certain area and then hoping the state kind of follows suit on the southern end.
Commissioners, just a reminder that Stephen Lewis is also on. I think I saw him raise his hand, but
Mr. Lewis, you have anything for us?
Oh, that was just a thumbs up when Jared said I was there too. No, I don't have
Need you to
anything to
get
add. I don't.
on your mic better, please, Stephen.
Is that better? Can you hear me?
No, it's not better. Use your outside voice, Mr. Lewis.
We can hear you, but not well enough to really understand you.
I don't have anything to add, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. All right. Mr. Hood, you're rushing forward.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just based on what Mr. Batiste said, I wanted just a couple of things to consider anyways, and to maybe just call out. So with ACHD's public involvement process, obviously you don't have the benefit of hearing from the public before the 19th when that closes. So sort of at a little bit of a disadvantage, but you've done this before, and I don't think there's going to be anything earth-shattering necessarily that gets submitted to ACHD. But we will be considering that as we share your recommendation with the city council if anything does pop up that we need to bring their attention. The other thing that I stood up for that I want you to at least consider, and I appreciate the committee taking what was our number 5 project that's under construction right now on U-Stick and taking that out because that's a 2026 project and this is the 27 through 31 5-year plan. And I don't know what the right answer is, but our number 1 project is also in construction and it's construction continuing through 26 and 27. So the Linda Road overpass is going out to bid later this month and that contract will be awarded before the commission even sees this. So I'm not trying to play a bunch of games necessarily. It's still a top priority for the city, but maybe it doesn't have to be in the top 3 and we use one of our top 3 projects. So that project's moving forward, period. So just something to consider. And again, following those rules, it's in construction in 26. So once it's in construction in 26, we can remove it. So again, I wouldn't say it comes off the list like number 5, but maybe it moves down. Just something to consider.
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Chairman. So in consideration of Meridian Road and talking about access to the freeway, they're not working on the entrance from Meridian Road to the freeway. That is a problem that ITD is not going to fix. So they're going to widen, they're going to work on South Meridian. They're not going to work on that section that goes over the interstate, except a little bit. They're going to put obviously a road from, they're going to extend the off-ramp to Eagle. But that road backs up trying to get on the interstate every single morning. And it backs up every single evening coming across that. So that's not really a viable option that they're going to fix anytime soon.
They being ITD.
Mm-hmm. They're going to widen Meridian Road, but south of that area
Okay.
is my understanding.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir. Do you or your committee have any comments on Mr. Hood's comments about your current number 1?
Yeah, I just, thank you, Caleb, for that. I think I wouldn't have a problem. You know, I trust Caleb's judgment around the timing of that. And so as long as it doesn't, bite us in the tail, I'm totally okay with moving number 1 to something like number 4 to still establish its importance, but keep the top 3 focus. I think that also kind of, again, looking back over this list, another reason that we discussed Locust Grove is if you look at a lot of the projects up here on this top 10, a lot of them have Locust Grove in them. And so there's, kind of a focus on picking a corridor, I think is the phrase that was used, and focusing on that corridor as a whole. So I think that makes sense to me. And I think that's in line with kind of what the subcommittee was looking at, of trying to promote Locust Grove and trying to focus on the whole corridor approach.
But my question for Mr. Hood is, could you sell it to the mayor?
That's a fair question. I can try. I don't know that I'll buy it. And again, it was just a thought. I do kind of like moving it down, but I don't want to send mixed messages. So maybe it's fine. I would just offer this as, again, another thought, consistent with the Locust Grove theme. It seems like most people are generally like, number 7. There's a bridge that's also been designed and going to be constructed in the next couple of years. It would be nice if we could do the bridge and the roadway widening at the same time. So you could move that one up even a little bit higher in hopes that, and we could even note that in our letter potentially to ACHD, hey, this one's moving up because you're adding some width to the bridge. Hey, let's just have the whole roadway widening project catch up with your bridge project.
You
So-
lost me. Which number are you looking at?
Sorry,
for
I'm looking at
bridge?
7 from last year.
Okay, from last year. Okay.
Yeah, Locust Grove, Amity to Victory.
Okay.
There's a bridge project that's in, I believe construction year is 28. Does that sound right? It's coming up in the next few years. So I don't know that they could actually design it and could catch up. But that would be our request, is if you could, it's in the top 3. Can you get on design and right away on this? And this is something we've talked about them for quite a bit. And it appeases some of the folks in South Meridian as well, South Meridian project. And I know there's generally try to get some geographical equity in, in our request lists. So anyway, just more, I appreciate what the committee did, just a couple of additional things maybe to consider, so.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
question for Caleb. So when we were kind of looking at that chunk, kind of with that intention of trying to construct these kind of together, we were looking at, I think I'm looking at the 2026 numbers. So 4, 5, and 6, this Victory, Locust Grove, Amity kind of area, we were looking at combining them together. Are you saying that one of them specifically, I guess last year's 7, this year's 6, would leapfrog into the top 3, and that would?
Just potentially, or maybe even swap it with number 1, still keeps it in the top 10. It really moves it to the top to say, hey, this is something we think there's opportunity, in when you're, designing and having this whole, maybe it's the same contractor, that does the bridge, that does the roadway widening. Go out there once instead of having it be a construction zone, within a couple of years of each other. Why don't you just go out there and do the whole darn thing? So again, not saying you have to do that, but that bridge appears to be moving forward. It's almost the tail wagging the dog a little bit, because the big one is the roadway widening, but we're in the door with the bridge. So you're in the door of the bridge. Hey, while you're out there, why don't you just go ahead and do the whole $10 million project?
Commissioners, just to clarify, that bridge project Kayla's referencing is a bridge project, so it's not in your roads and intersections and community programs list. It is programmed for FY 27.
27, it's coming up, yeah.
Thank you, Brian. I'm straining my eyes trying to find a bridge on this sheet.
I have a question for Mr. Hood.
Yes, sir.
I'm listening to the comments. And if one of these projects are currently under construction, its ranking is already solidified. So it's like it's a placeholder. So you say, well, move it. So by default, once it gets to that status, even though if it's ranked, whatever the number is, it really doesn't count. So, I mean, why, I guess I'm trying to figure out if I'm playing checkers or chess.
Yeah. Mr. Chair, Commissioner Ballard, it does count still, but only the top 3 really are the ones that ACHD is going to have committed to focusing on. We don't need them to focus on Linda Road anymore. The construction drawings are done. It's designed. It's going out to bid this month. So by the time they get through that timeline that Edison put up there, it's already, it's going, it's in construction. Yes, it's a longer project. It's a year-long construction cycle. But the bid has been awarded and they're going, so it doesn't match. So yes, it counts, and that's why I'm saying I wouldn't just get rid of it like you did the committee did with project number 5, which was the Eustis Road. That's under construction now, and it's not even on your list anymore, which is fine and great. It doesn't need to be. This one should be though, because the construction bleeds into even the next year. There's a 27 component to it. It's just, I mean, it would have to be something, and I don't want to jinx us, just disastrous that would happen. The state's cutting a bunch of transportation funding. I just don't, I'm not going to say it's impossible, but it wouldn't be because we moved it down 5 spots on our list that project doesn't move forward.
Well, your request makes sense.
Yep.
Strike while the iron's hot. So if you have equipment there, go ahead.
And again, we only get 3 spots, and I hate to use that one up with a meaning. I don't want to say it's not a good project. It certainly is, but I don't want to use one of our 3 projects for them to start working on that's already done, essentially. So,
Commissioners, one more thing on the bridge too, and the committee talked about this, or I mentioned it in the committee. While that bridge is happening sooner, ACHD has designed it for 3 lanes only. We advocated for it's just a box culvert. We advocated well before they finished design, and ACHD disagreed. So in your priorities, please consider, or at least when you're asking for a 5-lane road and ACHD is building a 3-lane bridge.
Maybe not disagreed, just didn't agree. Mr. Smith, I'm looking at the chair of the subcommittee. I'm not going to let us out of this until somebody tells me yes, no, or indifferent.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I generally am okay with this. I think it's
With this meaning?
with moving number 1 down. And I'm even potentially okay with moving last year's number 7, number 6 into the top 3. I'm just thinking in terms of like downside risk. Where do we put one? right? If the unmentionable instances, which it might actually matter that, that Caleb was working to not jinx, if any of those come to fruition, I don't want us to accidentally have, you know, put a rake out for us to step on. So I don't know that I would want to just swap them. I feel, and maybe we're kind of, I'm getting too in the weeds of what specific number this goes on, but I think just outside of the top three.
If you're gonna move it, it's gotta go somewhere.
Yeah, so I think
You're,
moving
you're,
it
you're in
to,
agreement that it needs to stay on the list.
yeah, I think I'm in agreement with it needs to stay on the list. I'm in agreement with it moving out of the top three. I think there's value in keeping it close to the top three just to ensure that that rollover into 27. If something happens, it's very clearly stated that it's a priority at number 4. So
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chair, we've always been told not to do that,
yeah,
that,
Not to touch it.
yeah, don't be
Well, that
making
was-
changes like
That was
that.
why my question to
Yeah,
Mr.
yeah,
Hood was
yeah.
about the mayor.
Yeah.
He's going, if you were to do something, I think he's the one, having brought it up, that gets to sell it to the 3rd floor. Which means it may not move.
I'm all for that, doing that. I'm
Taking
just
it down.
saying, we've always been told,
Don't touch
don't
it.
be monkeying with them because that sends a bad message that, and I never understood it, but that's what we've been told.
But now that dirt's been moved and pipes have been laid,
Yeah, I get you. I'm with you.
Mr. Lancaster, help us here.
Fine with me to move it. You know, looking at this page, if Locust Grove is truly the priority, then project 2, project 3, project 7, project, well, I guess it's 6 now. And project 9 are all Locust Grove, and 2, 3, and 9 are adjacent to each other. So, you know, if you're gonna move anything up, and if Locust Grove is your priority, then that's what you move up, and move number 1 Linder down.
To like number 6.
Yes, sir.
so Mr. Chair, I said 4, I heard 6. I guess I'd like to hear, yeah, if we're trying to just figure out where it goes, we'll order the current kind of, it seems like the proposal is move 6 to 1, then you have 2, 3, so on, and then where one goes, where the current one goes, like that's I think the main decision. It seems like the consensus is that we're okay with moving it, just how far down. I personally think it might be an easier sell to the mayor to say, look, it's right there at 4. It's, but
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, that's fine with me. If you make Linder overpass number 4, that's fine.
would
Chairman.
you like a motion, Mr. Chair, to that effect, or would you-
Well, we need a motion for the subcommittee's work to be accepted. We're gonna sit here today and modify what you did in your meeting. That's well and good, but we do need a motion as to exactly what you're telling staff, telling staff how you want this packaged, how you want it
Okay.
shown.
yeah? So we seem,
And why don't you use, if you can, use last year's priority numbers?
sure,
Because it gets confusing when you start just throwing out numbers as to which one you're talking about.
sure.
So if you can just say, using last year's priority numbers, move number 1 to somewhere and whatever the others do.
Sure. That works just fine. Yeah, so that would include, and I'm not making a motion just yet, just in case there's other, it would be a modification to it would be accepting the subcommittee's work with modifications. Imagine, so I want to leave the floor open to any other discussion that anyone else wants to bring on other topics. But what that would look like is last year's 7 to this year's 1, last year's 1 to this year's 4, just for if anyone else ends up making a.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Well, that's, Mr. Chair, that wasn't a motion.
That was not a motion. I'm
Not a
sorry.
motion in case there's any other items that anyone else wants to discuss on. I want to leave the floor open.
Okay,
If there are any other projects.
I got it.
to discuss.
Mr. Chairman.
yes, sir.
So I support moving number 1 to the number 4 position, but I think that's all I would support changing. I think we should leave everything else the way it is.
Could anybody understand Mr. Lewis? I couldn't.
Mr. Chair, I heard he would support moving 1 to 4, but I didn't catch the end of that sentence.
I support moving number 1 to number 4, but no other changes.
No other changes.
Okay. 1 to 4 with no other changes. Thank you. Anyone else?
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
how are we going to address the bridge that's only going to be constructed to 3 lanes when they want to expand Amity? I mean, we have to make the city council is going to have to push that a little. We making that in notes?
Mr. Hood.
So that, it's, thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Hopkins, sorry for the feedback. That is part of my sales pitch, I think, to the mayor, is to say, hey, listen, we've had some non-agreement over the past in how wide Locust Grove should be, and there's been some change in the right of way that's preserved along that corridor. But that really does press the envelope on the 5-lane configuration, and it may even delay. I didn't realize it was 27. I knew it was coming up, but delay that construction, and maybe we even ask them in our letter to consider redesigning it so it can accommodate the full widening. And that's a pretty strong message, and I'm not trying to put words in your mouth. I'll try to sell it, right? I think that's the right thing for our community, though. So, but that would be part of that conversation of why it jumped up so high, is so you can reevaluate this bridge. And should it only be 3 lanes? You really think that's gonna be accommodate all the traffic in the future is 3 lanes? So.
Mr. Hood,
Yes, sir.
this is above my pay grade, but it seems to me if you're gonna have five-lane road, you have a 5-lane bridge.
Right.
Now, the argument that says, no, we'll just create a bottleneck. There's got to be a good reason for that, and I haven't heard it, but that's above my pay grade.
Well, I can maybe how I envision it playing out. I mean, it's a 3-lane bridge, and if it ever gets widened to 5, they have to rebuild the bridge, and that's what we're trying to avoid. Similar to Black Cat and the 2-lane crossing, we know that crossing is going to have to be widened. Why do things twice and redo it? Even if you get some lifespan out of whatever you did, why don't you do it right the first time? So
That's the pitch.
that's the pitch, essentially.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
So based on your pitch, is that being a 3-lane bridge currently just kind of a forces of inertia? Just it's 3 lanes at the moment, so just.
It's a
3-lane bridge.
Band-Aid that buys us a little bit of time to keep Locust Grove at 2, when ultimately 5 is going to be needed sooner rather than later, maybe even today. So design the whole darn thing as 5 lanes and build that.
Yeah. Okay.
Wow. Just to be clear, I mean, 1 sends a strong message. I'll try. I don't know. The chair doesn't think I'm a very good salesman, so the challenge is accepted, but I don't know that I can sell it as number 1 priority for our community. But it does send a message about, hey, we're paying attention to what's going on here, and we think that Locust Grove should be 5 lanes wide.
But last year's 7 is for only 3 lanes with preservation for up to 5.
Right.
Are you saying that 7 should be changed to 5 and take the minimum 3 out of there? I'm looking at the way it's written right now.
And Brian might be able to help me. I think the way it's written now is because that bridge was designed to be 3. So we're like, all right, we'll eat this as 3, but someday it needs to be 5. And I'm here to say, I think that 5 sooner rather than later. So don't build it as 3. That preservation we're talking about, don't preserve, build it. And I'm not trying to put you all on the spot. It would help me, though, in my sales pitch, if that's some of the messaging and you concurred with that. But if not, that's fair too.
That's
take
why
my
we pay the
marching
subcommittee people so much money.
orders.
Mr. McClure, you were fixing to say something?
Just that I don't know, that note predates me. I don't know what the
Okay.
thought was. I will say, Caleb, a year or two ago, it was all arterials that weren't a few were being preserved for mostly 3, and council asked for them to be 5, and now we're sort of increasing the number of lanes for some of these to go along with that 5. So it's kind of a creep a little bit, but I don't know who wrote the note or how long it's been there.
Mr. Ballard.
This isn't a wise guy's comment. What purpose is served by the middle lane in a bridge? You can't turn either way. You can only, it becomes a 2-lane bridge.
Yeah. Mr. Commissioners, you actually do have some access points very close to that bridge. So you could conceivably have some of your turn lanes operating in there. You don't need a turn lane on a bridge, but sometimes you want people to be able to use a lane in the bridge to access something right after or before it. I'm not saying it's needed there. I'm just saying that's why you might need it. But a 3-lane bridge won't support 4 lanes either. So at least not without taking some out of the bike and pedestrian infrastructure.
Okay, well, I appreciate the clarification. I understand that.
Or you can just leave it as is.
Oh,
Well, I think we're doing really good here.
I mean, Mr. Chair, I'm ready to make a motion.
Someone jump in.
All right, Mr. Chair, I can make a motion. I guess what's the language? Is that moving that we accept or moving that we recommend to city council? Is there a specific? I guess I'll just go with move to accept. So, Mr. Chair, I move to accept the subcommittee's report on the integrated 5-year work plan with the following modifications: to change last year's number 7 to number 1, with a modification to change that from 3 lanes to 5 lanes. And then last year's number 1 move to number 4.
Okay, just a minute. I'm counting to see how the list falls we need a second on that.
well,
I'll second.
Okay, Mr. Lancaster seconded. Mr. Ballard, you had something?
Well, numerically, all right, so old 4 becomes 5, old 5 becomes 6, old 6 becomes 7.
No, I don't think that's what he said.
Well, you go 7 becomes
Ye-
1 and 1
yes.
becomes 4.
That would
Now
be
you
the
have 2
impact, yeah.
4s.
So the list would be old 7. Sorry.
That's
Old 7, old 2, old 3, old 1, old 5, old 6. So 7, 2, 3, 1, 5, 6.
Except we got rid of number 5 from last year.
Oh, yeah, with that, yeah.
Okay, so let me say it without understanding what y'all are doing. Starting at the top, using the old numbers on the sheet in our packet, page 43. 1 becomes 4, 2 stays 2, 3 stays 3, 4 becomes 5, 6 stays 6, and 7 becomes 1.
I believe that's right.
Is that correct?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I believe that's correct.
5, 6.
Well, sorry,
Huh?
last year 6, we didn't.
You still haven't, okay, so 5 just goes, old 5 just goes away?
Yeah, they took it off.
Took it off the list. Okay,
It was 2026.
It was dropped.
So it's under construction.
all right.
Yes.
Any other discussion? All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
All right.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank y'all. Thank the subcommittee for their work, and I want to thank you for not putting me on that subcommittee. And Brian, if you didn't get that, I got it. Okay, I have a question in the list, way down the list, on page 44 of the packet, continuing the list as given to us. the third and fourth new item in the lower third of the page. A little more, yeah. The third and fourth, they're Macmillan Road between McDermott and Black Cat and Macmillan Road Star to McDermott. Why, where did those two come from, and why are the east and west ends of Macmillan not included as well? And this may be a question for Mr. McClure. I don't have any problem with them. I'm just asking about.
Commissioner
Yeah.
President, so if I got a map up now, if you can see it, you'll note two of those corridor segments are in pink, meaning they're on ACHD's programming. The one on the far west isn't, so I simply did not add it to the list. But I was just adding them to our list to reflect what's on ACHD's mega list. There's nothing west of Star. We could add that. It would make sense, but I was just updating to reflect what ACHD had added, and same thing on the far east.
In the CICAC meetings, I have made a point of telling ACHD that I don't or the consultants actually who did it, why they stopped at Star Road with Macmillan as opposed to taking it to the county line at Canada. Because you don't know what Napa's going to do west of Canada, or they may already know. I can't keep up with us, much less them.
Commissioner Steed, the reality is when we're planning for all that area to be widened out, a 2-lane rural road won't work forever. So they're going to have to do something with it. It's currently just not on anyone's radar list. So
Okay, I
know you guys just made a motion, but if you want me to make sure, call it out for council so they see it and consider it, I'm happy to do that. I just add the missing segment, I mean.
Okay, I get you. Let me ask the other end, the Macmillan Black Cat to 10 Mile. I can't tell what your map is showing because we've got the word Macmillan laying over it. I think, yes.
Commission President, so do you mean 45?
Yeah. Does 45 stop at 10 Mile going west?
Yes, and 59 is to the east of that. I couldn't tell you why. That's just how they're organized currently. And that aligns with the spreadsheets in the packet you guys have.
Mr. Hood? You're getting your exercise today, sir. I'm glad to help.
This is great. Maybe just to clarify, on the map, that 45 goes between 10 Mile and Black Cat. And I think you're a mile off. You're
Okay.
a mile further to
Well,
the
this
west.
is-
So if,
In my defense, this is not the easiest to read.
and so just to build on, I think combining those together, something to think about anyways, maybe not for this year, maybe it's, for next year. What I talked to Brian a little bit about, and this is maybe for Craig too, I would propose, not that we need more projects on our list, but anything that's not built out to its full configuration, why don't we have it on the list, even if it's at the very bottom? Let's just put all the roads and intersections that eventually will need to be done onto the list. I'm not advocating that last segment of McMillan needs to be done tomorrow, but it should be noted somewhere that someday 2 lanes isn't going to work. And let's just add it to the list. So wherever we have an arterial roadway that isn't built to its ultimate configuration, why don't we add it to the list? I don't know what the harm in doing that is. So anyways, just another thought, and kind of lines up with yours, is it's a little misleading to not at least have it on there to say, okay, it's 145th on our priority list, but at least it's on there. And it's noted then that some work needs to be done sometime on it.
So you're saying, map aside in my ability to read it, that Macmillan is proposed all the way back to beyond 10 Mile, back to the
Beyond
east.
10 Mile, yes, but not all the way to the county line.
And that's to the west,
Yes.
but the east is
East is already
already
done.
prioritized.
Yep, that's right.
Okay, then I would make a motion that we add Macmillan Star to Canada to the list.
and Mr. Chair, just for consistency in that, then McDermott to Black Cat should also be on the list, right? You don't want to skip a mile segment in
I
that.
don't want a mile segment skip, no.
So you need to add all those segments, three segments, I think.
Commissioners, so I added two, and the reason the reason you're having a hard time with the label is because where it says McMillan, that's not, the city has no priority for that segment currently. That's why there's no number there. That's also why you see that the lightest color peach line there. None of the peach lines are on our list. So the segment that you reference is not prioritized, but it's on ACHD's list. The section west of that between McDermott and Star is on ACHD's list, but we have not prioritized it. And the section west of Star does not exist on anyone's list.
I'm with Mr. Hood, at least regarding McMillan. I mean, you've got the Oahe School out there. You've got a large amount of traffic that's moving up and down McMillan now that didn't used to be there. And you've got a charter school up on McDermott, north of McMillan. And then they're going to build another charter school north of McMillan between 16 and Star. I believe there's a soon to be built soon sign out there. So I would make the whole segment part of our list. And that is a motion. If I could find a second, that'd be okay too.
Second.
Motion and a second, discussion.
Mr. Chairman, can you
Mr. Lancaster.
restate the motion? What was it essentially?
I'm gonna ask
Taylor-
Brian to do it because he can tell what segments are not included, and I would like them included, please.
Members of the commission, what I heard was to add a McMillan between Black Cat and McDermott and Star Canada.
Yes.
Well, Black Cat to McDermott is on the list that we were given as a new.
Yes, there's two new ones. So, and I missed the third one. That's the one that no one has on their list. So, sorry. Yes, I've got two of the three there. The only one missing from anyone's list, including ours, is Star to Canada.
And that is the motion.
Okay.
Does the seconder agree?
Yeah.
Any other discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you all very much. Anything else on the prioritization list from anyone? Addison, we just want to tell you how much fun this is. Do you have any comments? I've seen you frown, I've seen you smile, I've seen you nod your head 3 different directions. Okay, thank you. Appreciate you taking the time to come. Okay, next item on the agenda is item 5, the use of school flashers during lunch periods. And this is one that came up at our last commission meeting, and some of us wish to talk about it.
That is not me. I will talk about it if you want me to, but I don't really have a whole lot to add. But I'd want to say before we move on, Mr. Chair, there's actually a part 2 of the item before. If you don't have any changes, that's fine, but you need to accept or modify the changes from the scoring committee on what ACHD used to call their community programs projects, but now it's safety and compliance.
Okay,
So there really are 2 lists or 2
I'm sorry,
motion on that one too, please.
that's you.
Yes, Mr. Chair, on the safety and compliance side, trying to recall if there's anything significant. I think we just readjusted some things outside of the top 10 for the most part. I think the main one was Victory in Asciano, was pedestrian crossing, trying to moving that to the area to 40, which is a new entry, I believe. And that's something that, don't remember what member of city council had a priority there, but that was a focus. But beyond that, no major changes to really comment on.
Anyone else to comment on the compliance projects?
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
I move that the commission accept and forward the subcommittee report on compliance projects.
Motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Lancaster. Discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Thank you, Mr. Hood. Okay, now we will move ahead to the school flasher situation. And I do not have a name of a presenter on that, so who would like to come to the podium, please, ma'am? Representing West Ada School District bus department or division or whatever y'all are.
Transportation Department members of the commission.
Okay. You have the floor.
So we worked with ACHD traffic engineers as well as our principals for our high schools to find out when we needed to have those lights flashing. This was something that was brought to us as our department to coordinate. It was something that was already decided. We just needed to coordinate. So we coordinated getting all of that done.
Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I may interrupt already. Can you, I missed your name.
Aaron Sweeney.
Aaron. Okay, Aaron. And then secondly, decided by whom?
I am not sure. Miranda gave me the information that that was something that was decided higher up than us. We were just asked to coordinate the project.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Chairman.
Anyone else have any idea who? Somewhere I heard, if didn't see, that this started with a citizen. Anybody know anything? This is where we got so confused last month. Sorry, Mr. Lancaster, can't help you.
Well, Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
reading the tea leaves from last month, there was a task force formed. And there was about 5 agency heads on that task force. And I'm assuming that that is the group that made the decision. And so then I asked the question, how is it relevant to what we have to discuss today? I'm not being argumentative. I'm going, what is it that we're going to discuss?
Mr. Lancaster.
Mr. Chairman, I guess I'd like to hear the presentation and go from there.
Because I think I'm in agreement with Mr. Lancaster, so I will sit back and enjoy the show.
Please, ma'am.
Members of the commission, I was just given an update to give you all about this. And we have gotten the time that it takes for the high school students to get off of campus, the time from each principal for them to get off campus and back onto campus. During those times, that is when the flashers are set to go off so that we have a slower speed limit going on outside of our schools. And this has been set up. We have gotten the calendar set up for Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday to be the same times. And then due to our late start Wednesday, on Wednesdays, we have those times set up a little bit different to address the bell schedule change. And this has already been set up and is in progress currently.
Has anyone seen, commented about it?
We
Do the
have not
students say we
received-
love it? They say we hate it? Does anybody have any opinion about it that you've heard of?
In my department, we have not heard any comments back that I'm aware of.
Okay. Mr. Bruner, anything you've heard in your world?
Mr. Chair, members of the commission, all I've heard is that, I spoke to traffic engineering about this. They said they are in full support as evidenced by the fact that it was approved and changed. And that is everything that I have.
Okay, thank you.
So, Mr. Chair,
Mr. Ballard.
let's see if I can phrase the question then. So if I'm driving down the road and I get this flashing light and I get a ticket that I exceeded that speed limit, I'm going to go, is that a lawfully established speed limit? And if it's not, then I have a defense to the ticket. So somebody made a decision that says I can make a lawfully enforceable speed limit. I think that that's our question.
What would make you think it isn't lawful? If the county highway district, the school district, and presumably the Meridian Police Department are allowing it to occur?
I'm saying that there's got to be a statute or an ordinance that says we have the authority to establish a speed limit. And I think that that's all the question is.
Emily Kane is on, or was on, with our legal department. Ms. Kane, are you out there?
I am. I was not present for this
Would you like
entire.
to jump into this?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I was not present for this entire discussion, but I am looking up. The question is the legality of the are we on the school flasher item? Or are we on the
Yes.
temporary? Okay. The have to find the statute, but the I'd have to look up the statute to find the statutory basis, but it is within the jurisdiction of the school district and the. I can do that. It is within the jurisdiction of the school, but I can find the statute that
If
that
you
says
wouldn't
that.
mind working on that, and then we'll come back to you at the end of this to see if you've been able to find the statute that allows this to occur.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, while she's looking that up, anything else from?
No.
Okay,
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Lancaster.
I have another question for Aaron, if I may, so don't leave quite yet.
Okay.
So my question is, well, I have a couple. So how many high schools have school zones?
6.
Out of so 6 out of how many in the district?
We have 6 main high schools.
And they all have school zones now.
Yes, they do.
And so what was the purpose of initiating this lunchtime school zone?
To be honest with you, I'm not sure what initiated it, but I can only think that it would be the safety of our kids and the safety of our students and our community.
So another follow-up, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
So which ones? The ones in cars or the ones not in cars?
Well, I would think it would be everyone involved, making sure that students who are walking to, say, Pizza, Dutch Brothers, or anything that they can get to, that they are safer, as well as making sure that students are pulling out of our schools and into our community, that we know those students are going to be in a rush, but to slow them down.
Okay, thank you. I have some comments on that later, but no more questions for Aaron right now.
All right, thank you.
If you wouldn't mind staying in the room with us, we'd appreciate it in case we think of something else. Thank you, ma'am.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Lancaster,
I have some comments, if I may.
you may.
So comment number 1, we in this commission found out about this kind of by chance last month, right? Almost in passing, that something was happening. So this is my, I guess, annual rant that if we're an advisory commission and we're not being asked to advise, then what are we doing here? I'll keep it short this year. So that's a concern. Number 2, I don't think we have the right people in this room to have this conversation. I appreciate Aaron being here and providing some information, but we don't have ACHD traffic in the room. We don't have law enforcement in the room. Miranda's not in the room. So I don't think we have the right people to have a proper conversation about this. I don't know how much the city was involved in this discussion at all. So while Meridian doesn't own any roads, it's in the interest of the city to be involved in these conversations, which I guess goes back to why aren't we involved in this conversation, right? It's happened. We're finding out about it after the fact, if you will. And then I guess lastly, and this is a big, big one, I mentioned I'd bring my guidance this month, and I did. Brought my Institute of Transportation Engineers Traffic Control Devices Handbook. And it has lots of guidance in it regarding school zones. And as far as I can tell, none of it's being followed with regard to these high schools. So first off, it says that school zones are usually only appropriate for elementary schools and middle schools. And it has to do everything with, what's the purpose of the school zone, which is why I asked the question I asked of Aaron. So what's it for? Who's it for? So it's usually for the student pedestrians traveling to and from school. And so the elementary and middle school are vulnerable for reasons that high schoolers aren't necessarily. So, elementary school kids are little, for instance, hard to see, impulsive, jump in the road, kick the ball in the road, right? All of those things. So they're intended for those students, right? It recommends not using school zones for high schools, but yet we've heard that 6 do, right? So that's issue number 1. Issue number 2 is school zones around here are used quite liberally in that the guidance also says if you have a signalized crossing, then you normally don't have a school zone. So, I think we first heard about this for Rocky Mountain High School, which I think has 2, crossings. So one signalized, one with pedestrian hybrid beacon, both of which would be considered protected crossings in, the guidance. 3 is when the school zone should be in effect. So this book admittedly says, so before school would be 30 minutes before to 5 minutes after the bell. And then it says during lunch, if there's students that leave campus or arrive on campus. So again, and then we'll hold that thought. And then after school, so 5 minutes before the bell till 30 minutes after the bell. That's the recommended guidance. So you may say, well, this lunchtime school zone fits with that guidance. Yes, but go back to what it recommends the school zone for, elementary school and middle school. So, why are there students leaving or arriving on campus at lunchtime in those settings? Well, half-day kindergarten, right? You have some kindergartners leaving, some arriving. We have full-time kindergarten here now, but so, the guidance that says you could have it at lunchtime, again, doesn't apply to the high school zone because it recommends against having a school zone at high schools anyway, right? And then I guess lastly, the school zone again is to, I guess, safeguard the student pedestrians. It's not to affect the behavior of high school student drivers, right? That's not the purpose of a school zone. So if the, intent is to change the behavior of high school student drivers, then that's an inappropriate use of a school zone. So, this guidance in this book comes largely from a study about 20 years ago from the Texas Transportation Institute, which is a large research facility. It's kind of the, maybe, one of the top research facilities for kind of traffic transportation related stuff. I actually had a chance to talk to the researcher that did that research here a few weeks ago in my travels. And, she confirmed that that's still the recommended guidance from her research. So, I guess I have a lot of issues with what's happened. We've seen this amplifying over the past few years. We saw the school zone show up at one high school and then another, and then apparently now all 6. And now not only do we have school zones where they're not recommended to be, but we've got them at 3 times a day. So I've got concerns about this. I would like to continue this conversation, but I think we need to bring more people into the room to have that conversation. So how's that for a February rant?
Not bad.
Mr. Chairman, I'll sign my name to what Mr. Lewis or Mr. Lancaster said.
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Smith.
I'd also, I guess, third that because from my time working on legislation, I had to look it up a little bit because regarding safe routes to schools, I think high schools are kind of included in that guidance. So from my maybe more layman perspective, I'd love to understand the difference between, and we know that sometimes one agency will say the sky is blue, the other say it's green. So I'd like to understand if that is where the guidance kind of jumps against each other. If this is maybe within a court of some federal guidance that goes against another, or if this is generally, bad practice or things like that. I tend to defer to the engineers in this room, but from a policy setting standpoint, this kind of conflicts with my past understanding. So I'd like to know more for sure.
Anyone else? I did ask our traffic sergeant to bring any relevant pedestrian accident information to us today, but as I say, he is out ill. And I emailed him when he told me that and asked if he had anything he could send me, but I don't see that I got anything. So I think your point about trying to get the right people in the room. Mr. Hood, are you on the edge of your seat again? Here you go. I'm glad to get your mileage in.
It's been a few minutes since I got my steps in, so thank you, Mr. Chair. I wanted to address a couple things. The first one first, I think, that you brought up. I do try to educate and encourage others at PD, the mayor's office. I haven't talked to Miranda in a while. She obviously knows there's this commission to vet these types of things through, but we don't control that. So I will apologize, although I don't know what I could do different. Annually, I bring it up, if not more frequently. Hey, we're here looking for work. Let us know. But I can't make that happen. So I will reinforce that again. But I just want to let you know, I regularly do like, hey, give them some stuff to talk about. They like to do that. So this is another one, but I'm not going to fault them. I'm not trying to defend it. I'm just saying they saw a need, knew how to get things done, and they did that. So, and then the second part of that, if this is where it's going, it's been thirded. So I assume that you'll want this on next month or when we can get those powers that be, if you will, into the room. So I'll work with staff and we'll invite them. Can't make them come, but I think we can, hey, can you come explain this to us? How'd you get there? What went on and all that? So again, apologize that we're here like this, but we'll get some people here in the near future to have further the conversation and hopefully get some.
It sounds like ACHD was a big player in this in terms of agreeing or having it happen. So
Sure.
we certainly need them as well as
Yeah, I'll work with Kelly. I don't know who it
PD
is,
and whoever
traffic
else you
engineering. Yeah, that's who we'll figure out who the right folks are here. But I think you guys have already talked about them. I mean, ACHD, traffic engineering, PD, maybe not our rep at PD, but whoever, or if anyone, I don't really know.
West Ada.
And West Ada.
The right people from West Ada.
I mean, Miranda may be the right person.
If Miranda's
today.
just another one that got told do it.
Yeah, we'll follow up with her and see what she knows and how much she can, the genesis of this and explain some of that and the process and all that. And Yeah.
Okay,
Maybe it's Dr. Bub, maybe it's not. I don't know, but we'll figure out who to get here to have some of
Okay.
that conversation. So
Mr. Chair,
if that's
Mr. Ballard.
I would still ask the question. And I want to say this very diplomatically. What is it that we're asked to do on this particular subject? Because kind of sounds like the train's already left the station
Yeah.
and we're just saying wave as it goes by because we have no input on this question. So I ask if we're gonna, and I agree with Mr. Lancaster, if we're gonna have a third meeting, what question are we being asked to address?
Mr. Chair, if you don't mind me giving a little bit of a
Please.
shot at an answer anyways. I don't know that you're being asked a question. I think you've asked some questions and you need to understand those answers. And depending on what those answers are and how you like those answers or not, I think you could elevate this to the council to say, hey, council, you need to really question this at ACHD. And just by the way, we got Emily on hold. So that'll be part of this,
know,
right? I
I'm-
mean,
I'm
what
aware.
angle we maybe take if we do elevate this to council to say, hey, is this something you're okay just waving at the train, or do we want to put down the stop bar? Or, I don't know what the right analogy is there, but just, again, I'm not necessarily asking you anything. We were told some stuff and you have some questions, and then you can kind of figure out if your answers are satisfied or you want to talk about it some more or elevate it.
Ms. Kane, have you missed us?
I sure did.
Good. Have you found anything in those law books that'll give us an answer to the legality of some of this?
Well, certainly the installation of the signs and programming the flashers is within ACHD's purview. And so I guess I could give you, would you like citations? These are still going to be pretty general. But
Mr. Ballard's reaching for his glasses and his pen.
I know how to
Okay.
look in a law book, Emily.
Okay, all right. So I would give you Idaho Code Section 40-1415-1C, which just says that ACHD can install and maintain traffic control devices where needed for traffic control. Then drivers, of course, have to obey the signs. So pursuant to Idaho Code Section 498011. And the general school zone speed limit provision is Idaho Code Section 49658-1. So there are provisions for posted maximum speed limits in a school zone, and then this is a different situation, signs that just say when children are present. So that's a different situation, but that's the general legal authority for the school zone flashers. It doesn't answer the question of who decides exactly when the lights go on and when they go off, but that is again within the purview of ACHD and traditionally with the input of the community where those signs are based on the need.
Yes,
I would say where needed is in that the first statute that I mentioned is probably the authority for ACHD doing that.
Thank you. I should address you formally. Thank you, Ms. Kane.
You're welcome.
Thank you, ma'am. But you can thank our regular city attorney representative for giving you this opportunity.
I sure will.
Well, I brought her out of the bullpen because she used to do this on a regular basis.
That's true.
Mr. Lancaster.
If I can circle back to Mr. Ballard's question of what's the ask of us. So I thought Mr. Hood did a great job with that, but I will also add that, we haven't been asked anything, which is part of my problem, right? We were informed and I have some objections. So in case you hadn't noticed. So I guess my ask is that we have a discussion about this and some forensics, if you will, and then decide whether to elevate it like Mr. Hood says.
Okay, at the risk of wishing I'd hadn't done this, I will comment that I believe I remember from the news media recently, last few weeks, two, I think they were high school students that had been hit by cars in Caldwell, not Meridian, not Boise, but in Caldwell. So, and they were, and I believe that, I know one of them was a high school. I know one of them was in a crosswalk. And I will say what I've said before, that unfortunately, people believe that crosswalks are force fields. And if you're in that, you cannot be hit. They're only barely less dangerous than crossing mid-block with no crosswalk. Okay.
Well, Mr. Chair, on that, those deaths are tragic. There's no way to address that.
They weren't deaths, but they were one boy that was badly hurt, pelvis broken and on and on. So,
Well, within the history of the last 3 years in Meridian, there's been a few fatalities of children going to school.
correct.
So I get it that they go, we got to do something. And if I'm all for safety, so making that decision of safety, as far as I can see, that's above my pay grade. I can't make a comment on that.
Okay, we're ready to move along? Doing so, the next item is number 6, temporary traffic controls. And I guess my first question is, Mr. McClure, do we have people available for this that we can have a discussion or not?
Commission President, we don't have any specialists in the room to talk about that more so than last time.
Mr. Hood again, loving it.
So, Mr. Chair, we talked about this a little bit in our agenda setting meeting, but what we're planning to do today is actually show you. So ACHD, Ryan Head, Director Head, was at the joint meeting that we alluded to at your January meeting. It was just held last week before now. Might have been almost 2 weeks now. And this question came up. And so what we're going to do is we've queued up the YouTube video so you can hear from him their practice on installing temporary stop signs and speed humps in nearby neighborhoods when there's a construction project. So the idea.
Which are outside the agreed upon construction detour system.
Yes, yes. So watch that. And then if you still have questions, what we can do is ask again. We have engineering coming next month or the month after, or whenever we can, and address this too if there's some follow-up questions. But we thought we'd start anyways with them explaining to you. It was addressed to the council and their commission, but Director Head on that program.
Okay.
And what we're doing for concerns about cut-through traffic and concerns of the neighborhoods. We're taking a proactive approach ahead of construction and in our design plans, looking at ways where if we have an intersection closure or road closure, what cut-through traffic might occur to avoid the closure, through neighborhoods and residential areas. What cut-through traffic might occur to avoid the closure.
I think this is another one where we may not have the right people in the room, so if we can continue it over. There was a bit to unpack there in the few minutes. So two things that stood out to me were, one, there appears to be a policy change on the use of stop signs at ACHD. We've had, Mr. Wasson tell us for years that you don't use a stop sign for speed control, and yet that's exactly what it appears they're doing now. So, and there's some, there are some warrants for stop signs in the manual on uniform traffic control devices, and it appears there's no warrant study happening either. So there's some legality question, Mr. Ballard. So that's one thing to unpack from that, is it appears there's a policy change. The other thing that was right at the end that I thought was interesting is, we've also been hearing for years that if you want speed humps in your neighborhood, that there's a procedure for that, right? And it appears that procedure has been flipped on its head. ACHD will install them and you have to ask for them to be taken out. So this is, that was fascinating to hear. There were just, in those couple minutes.
So you would like to bring this back
Yes.
at a future meeting for discussion by people that know about it?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. McClure, can we do that?
Mr. President, we can ask and we'll plead if we have to, but I can't make it happen if they don't want to.
I would be shocked if they told us we won't come.
We'll try.
Mr. Hood?
They said they won't come?
I'd be shocked if they said they wouldn't come.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, thank you. I think we can. And I don't want to say we're playing games with the agenda. I really, though, wanted to make sure this meeting we could get through the 5-year work plan priorities. I was afraid that if we had these two topics, they're going to take more conversation. Engineers sitting here for an hour and a half listening to you talk about priorities. These can be first on your agenda next month if we can get them to commit to coming. So we thought maybe we could get there today on one or both of those items. Obviously it didn't. So I just wanted to let you know that's sort of our thought process was if we're getting close to 5:30 anyways, we would have had to extend the meeting. So it's sort of already in motion. Thought maybe this could appease. Obviously it didn't, and we'll follow up. So
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I'll wear the badge of difficult to appease. How about that?
We aim to please, not difficult to please.
Well,
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I'd be happy to share that badge with Mr. Lancaster.
He found his outside.
You found your microphone. You're very, very clear now.
I
Thank you.
changed the different devices I was using, but I'd also like to say I'm in agreement with what Mr. Lancaster was saying about these unwarranted stop signs. It's a big issue. They're unwarranted and they're being used for speed control, which is specifically prohibited in the MUTCD, and it opens up the highway district and the city to a lot of liability that no one seems to be talking about. Thank you.
Hold that thought for the next meeting when this comes up.
Yes, sir. We'll have a good talk about it.
Anything else on this topic? We'll move ahead. Okay, ex officio updates. Mr. Bruner, do you have anything that's not on one of these topics you'd like to share with us?
Mr. Chair, members of the commission, no, pretty much the only big thing going on for ACHD is the kickoff of the next cycle of the 5-year plan, which obviously Edson did a great presentation on. On a personal note, I just wanted to inform everyone here that I will be absent for the next 2 meetings. I will be going on paternity leave, hopefully at the end of this month. So, yeah, so that will be, somebody else will be here filling my role for the next couple months. I'm not sure.
Sorry, who will?
I'm not sure yet. Somebody
okay.
will. I'm not sure who exactly that will be. We'll figure that out as it comes. But yeah, so I will not be here, but I'll be, I may tune in to next month's meeting because I'm curious as well. So.
Okay, Mr. Miller, you get a gold star for sticking with this.
Mr.
If
Chair.
you don't, if you don't have anything, we're gonna be very disappointed.
Thankfully, I have a bit of an advertisement for you. So, Mr. Chair, Commissioners, Austin Miller with Compass. I typically like to take the couple minutes to share about project updates. There's nothing really substantial of note since our meeting last month. I'd say the closest thing to an update is our high capacity transit study. Last month I had shared that we had received FTA acceptance on that. We did receive a recommendation from our advisory committee to bring that forward to our board of directors later this month. So it's at least still moving forward, just we haven't had a board meeting since the last commission meeting. So I wanted to use the bulk of this time to share that we do have an education series event. So us at Compass, each year we hold, or we try to have 4 different education series where we'll bring in a speaker from outside to talk about a relevant transportation topic. And we have 2 sessions. One is provided mainly at working professionals. The other one is in the afternoon, shooting for members of the public or anyone who might be interested. I have information that I'll certainly share with your staff and glad to pass along to you as well. But coming up later this month, we have Dr. Tom Sanchez from the earlier mentioned Texas A&M University, and he will be here talking about AI. So we have AI for communities using the right tool for the job. I know me personally, AI, all the different types of it have been floating around, and it's hard to know what type of AI to use for what task. And if I just get confused, I just give up and do it myself type deal. So trying to find ways that it can be used to benefit planners such as myself, but also maybe other interested topics that you all may have. So we have that coming up on February 25th is the afternoon session. So from 6 to 8 p.m. And then February 26th is the one during work hours. And that is from 9 a.m. to lunchtime. So if any of you are interested, or again, I will share with staff, would love to see some familiar faces there. And with that, that is all I have.
If you would like to run behind us and hand those out to us now, that would be okay.
Can do.
So you don't have to chase people racing for the door.
Yeah.
Mr. Smith, did you have something?
Oh, Mr. Chair, just to backtrack, I just thought it'd be fitting to say on behalf of the commission, just congratulations, I think are in order, on the addition to the family.
Thank you very much. Anything else from West Ada School District and the busing department?
That's transportation, not bus.
I think it's a bus.
Mr. Chair,
Yes,
members
ma'am.
of the commission, we just want to share a district update with you in our office. We have been working to get our boundary adjustments complete. We looked at what it would be the safest and what would be the easiest for our parents, our buses, and our community members. So we are moving those boundaries a little bit. They will be going to our board meeting on February 9th for final approval and be voted upon. So we might have some boundary changes that will affect our local community and schools.
Anything else?
No, that's it for us.
So the boundary changes have been now fixed, the new ones.
Correct. They've gone through a couple different refinements and they'll be going up to the board for a final vote on the 9th.
And y'all are preparing to make the shuffle to make it work.
Yes,
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
if I may add, I do appreciate Aaron being here today, and please don't think that I'm trying to shoot the messenger at all. I appreciate your being here, so thank you.
He's always like this, so. Not just you. Kate Dahl, you have anything for us, ma'am?
Commissioner, I believe she left the meeting.
Okay. Mr. Price, ITD, you still here?
Of course I'm here. I'm always here, Mr.
No, you
Chair.
weren't. You missed a couple of meetings because of something, but we're glad to hear from you.
Yeah,
Talk to
I
us.
was here at the last one. I just couldn't get approved as a panelist for some reason, so I just had to have conversations with myself is all. I don't have anything major as an update. We are still on track for variable speed signs on Eagle Road coming this spring. But nothing else beyond that to report. Thank you.
Thank you for being with us. We do not have a police rep today. We've already heard from legal unless Ms. Kane is still with us and has anything else.
I do not, but thank you.
Thank you for sticking with us.
Happy to be here.
Okay, next item on the agenda, staff communications. And who's going to present that to us? It's Mr. McClure.
Commissioners, I don't have anything to share. All of the staff communications that made it to the memo are in there, but I am happy to answer questions or turn to colleagues that may have answers.
Does anyone have any questions on any of the staff communications for Mr. McClure?
Mr. Chairman, I don't have any questions or comments, but I guess a request to be included in our favorite Woodbridge conversation, to hear an update on the results of ACHD study. I guess that's my request.
Let me clarify that, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong. It's not an ACHD study. It's a City of Meridian hired consultant study. Is that correct?
Commissioner Steed, that's correct. The city initiated that. ACHD participated. We're planning to have staff present on that outcome next month. I will say on the note of Woodbridge, though, there are several comments in there from Woodbridge on a little related. I don't know if you guys want to entertain any of those being discussed further either.
Anyone?
Mr. Chairman, I'm okay waiting till the report, I guess.
You want to tell him, Mr. Hood, or you want me to?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, again. Just one clarification. So there's kind of two parallel efforts going on all in the same area. The Woodbridge HOA approached ACHD about some crosswalk and some other requests. That has nothing to do with the study that the city undertook and hired Kittleson, and that was recently reported out. So I don't have any more information on sort of the crosswalk request and where that's at with ACHD, but we will, with Carl here next month, present that side. So two different but related things in the same neighborhood. So I don't know if that helped or not, but just again, expectations for next month. We'll work with Kelly on who his replacement, maybe we can even influence who his replacement is over the next couple of months. And see if maybe someone that's familiar with that side of that equation to be here. But again, it's all jumbled together, but they're separate efforts.
Your study goes from Idaho State University's, I guess you call it a campus, all the way to St. Luke's Hospital on Eagle Road.
It's actually a little bit larger than that.
And it's in two complementary pieces. Is that correct?
Well, yes, mostly correct. The study area is actually larger. So the study area is encompassed but we weren't looking at some of what the HOA was requesting. That wasn't part of the scope of our work. The geographical area was covered. Woodbridge was part of the scope that we were looking at, but we weren't looking at it with the same lens that I think their HOA is requesting of ACHD with some of the gates and crosswalks and some of those types of things. That was not part of what we asked Kittleson to look at.
So stay tuned.
Commissioner Steed, can I get clarification on that? So are you guys, is the commission just interested in the study from Stratford to Touchmark? Or are you interested in responding to or discussing any of the other emails, or both?
Mr. Lancaster.
Mr. Chairman, I guess I'm asking for, maybe we can add it if ACHD traffic chooses to appear, if we can add it to part of that discussion, because as I recall, there was an email in here, Kendall Kemmer on item 8. ACHD Traffic Engineering Division has opened an investigation and will evaluate the results of 4 marked crosswalks. So I guess, an update on that from ACHD traffic as well. We're making quite a list for them. So Mr. Chairman, if I can ask on another staff communication here.
Please do.
Changing subjects. So this is the post office crosswalk request. I guess I'm not exactly sure where this new parking lot is. I assume it's across.
Thank you,
Okay.
because I have driven around that area 2 different times, including today. And only when I came in here and said, where the heck is this thing they're talking about, that they showed me, and they're calling up the map, the aerial for us right now.
Mr. Chair. Just as a kind of a point of order, we are pretty close to 5:30 if we might want to extend.
We're gonna get this done by 5:30. We're not gonna plow the parking lot, but we're gonna at least understand where the thing is.
Commissioners, if you can see the screen here, the post office is on the east side of Main. The parking lot is on the east side of Meridian Road, in between Meridian and Main. It looks like if you can see my mouse, it's right next to where it says Meridian on the east side. There used to be a house that's kind of got the dry, dead looking grass, right across from Cherry. That entire lot was wiped clean, and the post office, they don't own it. They developed some sort of parking lot there in coordination with the property owner there. It was not permitted through the city. It was just federal oversight, benefit, whatever you want to call it.
It's accessed by cars between the 2 buildings to our left of your cursor. No, by cars, back over to Meridian Road. How do you drive into it?
Commissioner Steed, it has access from Meridian Road.
Between the two buildings to your left of your cursor, correct?
Between the Inn on North Meridian and R on RD Road.
Yeah, right through there. And then it's a newly black-topped, chain link fenced parking lot, fairly large. Maybe, I didn't count, maybe 60 cars or so. And I'm told, although I didn't see it, that there's a walk gate in the southeast corner of that lot, brown lot, where they're walking across toward Main Street to get to the post office.
Mr. Chairman, seeing the clock, I'll keep this short if I may. So I guess this goes to a pet peeve of mine that, we have land use decisions, in this case, outside of the city's purview, right? But it affects the transportation network. And whether you're a user or a payer or both, you're penalized because of these decisions, right? So if a crosswalk is, let's say, an enhanced crosswalk, that affects both the operation of Main Street and we have to pay for it. So that's my pet peeve, that these land use decisions lead to, consequences for more than just those that use that parking lot.
Mr. McClure, if I'm not mistaken, ACHD is looking at the request. Did I understand that?
Commissioner Steed, that is my understanding, yes.
Another one of those more to comes, Mr. Lancaster.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Ballard.
anything that they can do to improve parking around the post office would be appreciated. It is a difficult facility to access. Do it 5 times a week.
And that's not only after you get out of your car either.
Well, I get it, but this is a function of growth and we're trying to accommodate. And I don't know the best solutions, but we're the 2nd largest city in the state and we have 1 post office. And
Okay,
many-
okay, looking
many
at the-
requests have been made to build another one. It goes unheard. So,
Looking at the clock on the computer, we are 1 minute over our time limit.
now,
Chair would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion from, I heard Mr. Lewis is the second, motion from Hopkins was the motion. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
I.
Thank you all.
Mr.
Sorry
Lewis,
we
I think
didn't
I
get
got some
more
hair
answers,
back when he
Mr.
said that.
Landis.